Okay. And are you showing? We're live on Facebook. Sometimes it'll show me and sometimes there'll be a pop-up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go live regardless here. So clear. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Very Connected podcast. And we are so thrilled today to have Anissa here with us. Anissa Grantham, she is going to be sharing a new skill with us. At least it was a new skill for me, maybe a new skill for you. It's called DBT, and it's for emotional eating. Anissa is she's a Georgia licensed psychotherapist, master addictions counselor. She has over 30 years. You don't even look like you could have that many
It's
years of
36.
experience.
It's 36, and that's what's scary. It's like, oh my God, no.
Oh Lord. Well, you look young, so
Bless
this
you.
therapy is working for you. And you specialize in food addiction and substance abuse, and kind of draw on your own journey as a long-term weight loss surgery patient to inspire others. And your credential as a bariatric life coach and group support group leader. Just I met her. I think we met at ASMBS, which is
Mhm.
American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery, at one of the conferences, and just knew right away that I was going to become a friend of yours, a follower. So at that, I'm going to kind of hand it over. And also, I want to just say, too, if you're joining on Facebook or you're joining here on the Zoom, say hello. I do see some of you saying hello. Hello from Rhonda says hello from Florida, Mary Jane from Iowa. Barbara says her and her sister joining from Phoenix. We have Stephanie
Mhm.
from Southern Illinois, Brandon from South Carolina, Jill from Virginia, Carrie from New Jersey, Jada. Oh my gosh, they just keep coming in. So I'm not going to be able
I
to say
love
everybody's
it. I
names,
love
but a
it.
big, huge welcome.
South
It looks
Georgia.
like
Hey, I saw South Georgia. Yay.
and my daughter Madison is on the call. She also works with ProCare. So hello, Madison. And
Madison.
um, so Anissa, I'm going to allow you to kind of elaborate with us on why, like why you're here in this space,
Hmm.
how you can effectively help influence other people in their journey, weight loss journey, in their journey of life
Mm.
in general, and kind of like what brought you into this for yourself, because
Right.
I know you were on a weight loss journey yourself. Tell us about your story.
Yeah. Thank you. Brenda, thank you for inviting me back. I love the platform. I love everything that you're doing and the population, our community that you're reaching. This is a big deal. So again, thank you for inviting me back. I am Anissa Grantham. I am again just ecstatic to be here. When I think about just listening, like, God, over 30 years experience, that's kind of scary. I celebrated 36 years in the field this year. I've been in private practice 20 years, and my journey started as my own, through my own struggles with addiction and recovery, obesity myself, and was on my first diet when I was probably 10, 11 years old, and had bariatric surgery 23 years ago. July will be 24 years. And again, continuing to explore and understand that I suffer with the disease of obesity. And recovery is a process. So I'm never going to get this 100%. And that's the piece that I think at times people struggle with. I have been in counseling and therapy myself and knew that in order for this to be successful long term, I had to work on me. The truth is that accountability is everything for me, and I keep doing what I do for the accountability. That's the piece that works for me. I keep showing up for me to show up for everyone else, and that's the piece that has always worked. And I'm grateful for the space and the opportunity to do that because without everyone else, I wouldn't be here. My husband and I will say this, my husband and I are full-time RVers. We sold everything 3 years ago and bought an RV. So it was outside of Savannah, Georgia. And right now we are in middle Georgia. But we have traveled around the country. We've been in Florida, throughout Texas and Arizona and Colorado, Utah, Wyoming. So we have been traveling and right now in middle Georgia. But I am licensed in Georgia as a psychotherapist, and again, continue to keep doing what I love to do. Today, we're going to talk about DBT, Dialectical Behavior Therapy. And I talk about this last year really, over the years have used DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, in a lot of different spaces, especially with recovery, and have used cognitive behavioral therapy over the years. I'm not DBT certified, but I am DBT trained. And last year we created a 12-week online group. And when I started talking about the different ways and the different skills and the different, you know, ways that people can help themselves, very often we are educated, for bariatric surgery on how to eat, what to eat, when, how much to drink, what to drink, when to drink, all of the things that go along with being a successful bariatric patient. But there are times when we miss the mark when we're talking about mental health and emotional wellness. And that's the piece that I kind of hone in on because, again, as a therapist, I've had a therapist, I've done the work, if you will, but continue to do the work because there's never 100%. There's never, I'm cured, right? There are always going to be things that come up. It's just I'm dealing with it differently. And as years progress, I have more skills to deal with things as they come up. Um, and I want to teach people that. I want to empower people. I want them to know that we don't have to use food to manage our emotions. We don't have to use food to numb. We don't have to use substances, not just food. Some of us also, use other things, shopping, eating, alcohol, other substances. So, the goal is to teach people that we can actually bring comfort to ourselves. We can soothe ourselves without eating.
And I'm glad you brought that up because it kind of brings in the thought that it our weight loss journey, we focus on our health. But
Uh,
what I want to say is, guys, that ripples over to
mm-hmm.
every single part of your life. When you
Yeah,
make little changes and you realize that you have the awareness that you can make other changes, it
yeah,
ripples over to everything.
yeah.
So I feel like that what you're going to be talking about, this DBT, is not only going to be helpful in the area of your weight loss, but also
Right.
hopefully like your relationships, potentially
Mm-hmm.
your finances,
Mm-hmm.
potentially your um, your house, your home, your
Yeah.
friends, your work, all of that.
All of the above. Definitely. I do see some comments that they're not seeing you. I'm not sure if that's if you're seeing those comments or not.
Let's see.
I'm
No,
not sure
I
if that's
did
on
not.
Facebook or if that's on here.
I sent a note to about on Facebook. It's not popping up there. So
Gotcha.
I'm going to post
You're
it
good.
on Facebook
Okay. You're good.
shortly
Yeah.
shortly after this because
Okay.
I don't think it was going live stream there, but we will
Ah,
have it as replay there. So
awesome.
it's all good.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay with you and kind of get started with a PowerPoint. Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, no. If I do.
We do see your screen. Oh, we did.
Oh, we do, we don't. I do this for a living. Yes, I do.
No matter how many of these you do, you're always a little bit at loss for the
How,
technology.
right? It is sometimes the idea. All right. Now I want to. Okay. You see the screen now? We're good?
We are good to
All
go.
right,
Yes.
here we go. So the DBT solution for emotional eating. Again, this is actually a book review that I'm going to be presenting. Here's a little bit about me. I am a licensed professional counselor, master addictions counselor, certified trauma therapist. I'm a bariatric coach and again had bariatric surgery back in 2002. A before picture and a traveling picture that I have here. Sometimes people like to see befores. I get it. I understand. One of
And Nissa, how
the
much weight did you lose out of curiosity?
over
Because you've kept
150
it off.
pounds. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
and I've struggled with weight recurrence over the years just as part of disease of obesity. But one thing that I've always come back to, so I've lost over 150 pounds, been able to maintain close to 140, 150 pounds off. Um, and again, over the years have struggled with, with weight recurrence. I think that coming back to remembering I have a pouch, I will always have this tool. It's whether or not I'm using that tool. And how I'm using that tool. And, I recently completed a coach workshop with Tasha Stafford, and needed to be reminded of the basic, just something as simple as tracking my food. So I always come back to, we have to remain teachable, always be willing to show up. I'm showing up without shame. That's the piece that I come back to. I'm not going to shame my body or myself for having a disease, but what am I doing about it? Am I not, and doing everything that I can to take care of me? That's the piece. This isn't for me being about, it's not about being skinny, and I'm really big on that. I didn't have surgery to get skinny. I had surgery to save my life and to get healthy. That's the piece that I always come back to. Not everybody is like that, and I get it. But that is my piece. That is my piece.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's remembering that, we all come into this process having our own, having our own purpose. And to shame each other for that, I think can be very dangerous in this community. People die from the disease of obesity. Shame is probably the root of so much of this for us. So making peace with that is really important, I think. At least it was for me. The book that I'm going to be talking about today, and some of the skills that we're, drawing off of, is the DBT solution for emotional eating, a proven program to break the cycle of binging and out of control eating. Now, I get that not everyone out there who suffers with the disease of obesity actually has a diagnosis of binge eating. Really, what we're talking about is out of control eating or overeating, eating when we are not hungry. That's the piece that those are the folks that I want to talk to. Because the truth is I'm not a binge eater, but I have, when I'm not hungry, I have overeaten at times. So those are the folks that when I talk with my clients, this is what I hear more often. And that's really the community and the population that I talk to more often than not. So just again, don't let the binging come into play. Just paying attention to maybe out of control eating or overeating. So, an introduction to DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. Dialectical just simply means that we're holding two things, two opposite things as being true at the same time, right? So, that your thinking is more flexible. I can accept myself as I am at the same time as I'm working toward change, right? I can have a binge or I can overeat and be committed to being healthy. Those are the pieces that I really want people to understand. That dialectical means that we're holding two things, two opposite things, true at the same time. The balance of acceptance and change is what makes DBT so powerful, especially for people who are struggling with emotional eating, anxiety, or just overwhelming feelings. So, that black and white thinking or that all or nothing, those patterns that we get stuck in actually lead us to believing that things are either all good or all bad. And that's what gets us into trouble, right? Because if I'm eating good, then that makes me good. If I'm eating bad, then that makes me bad. And it's really understanding that there's a balance between acceptance and change. And these two things can coexist. So why does this matter when we're talking about bariatric surgery? Many individuals actually use surgery or and non-surgical, right? We've got to talk about those who are using medications. These interventions to lose weight and expect to eliminate problematic eating patterns. While surgery reduces physical hunger and the amount of ghrelin that we have in our stomach size, it actually does not address emotional hunger and habitual coping mechanisms. So you guys might, some of you might be in in, in that place right now that you're realizing, holy moly, what in the world's happening? This isn't fixing, surgery hasn't fixed, or GLPs haven't fixed this preoccupation that I've got, or this emotional hunger that I've got going on. So if you turn to food for comfort, stress, or boredom, if you're feeling out of control with some of your trigger foods, right? Maybe you identify chips or sweets or even carbohydrates as some of those trigger foods. Maybe there's some feel eating off plan, making choices that don't align with what you say you want, right? So again, that's that dialectical behavior therapy where we're able to say, I can have an out of control moment with food and still want to focus on my health and still want to be a healthy eater. Emotional dysregulation driving a lot of time drives food behaviors. Even after physical changes, your brain still needs new emotional tools. And that's the piece that, again, DBT can start to offer. All right. And there are different things that we do here. So um, there are core DBT skills. And today we're going to talk about several of them. One is emotion regulation. Emotion regulation is understanding and changing emotional patterns with food. So learning to identify the emotion instead of eating them, increasing positive emotions with activities, with structure, with self-care. Actually, I'm going to have to, I think, this pulled up my old one. Give me just a have to. This
Sure,
is
no
my old.
worries.
When I clicked back
Nothing
on to
like always
share,
changing
I
things
know,
up,
right?
right?
No, when I clicked back on to share, I think I pulled up the old one instead of the new one. There we go, right? No, let me just go back to it. Sorry.
All good.
Oh my. I love
Oh,
it.
just it's all good.
It is all good.
For all of you guys out there listening, I also want to just mention if you do have questions, feel free to
There it
write
is.
in
Yep.
the chat box if you're on the live, or there's a Q&A box, which is for questions and answers. Feel free to write your stuff there. And this will be kind of taking like
Yeah.
little breaks to kind of like help answer questions and kind of move through things. So thought I'd
All
mention
right.
that while you're pulling
Yeah.
everything
Thank
up.
you. Sorry about that. So from current slide. Mm, there we go. Increasing our positive emotions with activities, with self-care. The
And is
skill.
it still it's still not showing your screen, but it's I'm seeing Zoom and Barry connected support group tabs.
Mm, mm, mm. Really, Nissa? Really, Nissa? Just go back to what I know and stop trying to. How about that? That's what happens when, how about now? We're good?
Yeah, is this still the old
Yep.
one? Yep, it's
Yep.
all
Nope.
good.
I'm just gonna go with it. And you know what? I know my stuff, so it's okay. It is okay. Uh,
Yeah.
all right. Emotion regulation is one of the core DBT skills for emotional eating. And again, it's to understand and change your emotional patterns. Learning to identify the emotion instead of eating them. That's the key piece with emotion regulation. increasing positive emotions with activities, with structure, and with self-care. The skill, one of the skills that I teach, I do a 12-week coaching group, and I also have an e-learning series. One of the skills there that we talk about is opposite action. So if you feel like then in isolating and eating, then we do the opposite. We connect, right? And we don't eat, but we connect. We either call a friend, we go for a walk, we connect with nature. We have some kind of connection. So again, just learning that there are other skills involved. What that emotion regulation cycle looks like. So this is the ABCs, if you will, of DBT. So understanding that there is a trigger, a triggering situation, right? There's a person, place, or thing that has happened in the environment. It could be internal or external. So we have a situation. I get an email from my boss, right? And it's 4:55 on a Thursday afternoon, and the boss says, meet me tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Boom. That's the only information I have. And I take that information, that triggering situation, and I blow it out of proportion, right? So I have thoughts about it. Oh, I'm in trouble. I did something. I'm going to get fired. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to be without money. You name it. We start to, what could I have done wrong? What did I miss? What did I do? They're going to know I'm not as competent as they thought I was. All of these things, right, start to run through our head. So we assign meaning to what has now happened. And with that comes anxiety, right? So I'm getting anxious. I see an email, I get anxious because I have now assigned something to that. I've assigned a thought to that situation. C, jumping to, I attempt to avoid or escape that emotional experience. I'm feeling anxious. My body sensation, right, also is included in this. So I might have heart racing, anxiety, nervousness, sweaty palms, dry mouth, all of the above. D is the behavior, is what you do in response to this feeling of anxiety. So I have a triggering event. I have a thought about that event. I have, right? And about that event, my behavior then kicks in and I start to eat. Now, please understand, we're not conscious of all of this. That's what DBT is all about. That's what the emotion regulation cycle is here to teach us, how to stop, pause, and think things through. So we have a thought, we have a situation, we have a thought, we have a feeling, we have a behavior. That behavior then calms, right, my anxiety. So I'm eating on the way home, I'm swinging by, the grocery store, I'm swinging by fast food and I'm getting something to eat and I'm stuffing that emotion, calming the system because there is temporary relief. If there wasn't relief, if there wasn't something we got from our eating, we wouldn't do it. So please understand that it has served us. I get that, right? I've experienced that. There's relief, also some negative long-term consequences, right? So again, we might beat ourselves up. There might be weight gain. The after effects impact our moods, right? And then we're going home and I'm now upset with myself because I stopped and I got some fast food. Of course, I'm not going to tell anybody about that. So I'm mad and angry and out on the kids and the husband or the spouse and slamming things around, you name it. Does any of this sound familiar? And again, we're not telling anybody about this, right? We're just thinking it all in our heads. All of this is going on. Once there is relief, we go back to the eating, or we go back to again, blowing things up and thinking about it. The emotion is there that we're trying to avoid, and the behavior continues. So we don't go back to the triggering event. After a while, we are just now cycling through the thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Thoughts, feelings, and behavior. And that's what continues. Okay. Does this make sense? Okay. if you have questions during this time, please feel free to ask. That's what this is all about. That we have time throughout to talk about it. So that is emotion regulation. Emotion regulation. Another core DBT skill is called chain analysis. This is understanding that learned behaviors can be unlearned. This is the greatest gift that we have for ourselves, is to empower ourselves. I can unlearn. I can stop doing. It's going to take some time, and it's going to require some compassion and some patience and some practice, but I can do this. And that's the piece that sometimes we forget, right? Because we want everything instant. We want everything so fast. And when you're in the first year after surgery, the weight is just flying off. Or you're on a GLP and the weight is just coming off. But there's work to be done. There's work to be done. Chain analysis is the next breakdown. So to break down a problem behavior and understand what led up to it. So again, I think of this is your detective tool, right? You're going to put on your little cap and you're going to be like, okay, what is going on here? What happened or what didn't happen throughout the day? What am I reacting to? So what or who triggered the behavior? Again, was it internal or external? This is going back and going over that emotion regulation cycle and creating that chain analysis. What thoughts, emotions, body sensations, or urges did I feel at the time? There's some vulnerability factors that play into it. So again, sleep, eating, blood sugar, those are some vulnerability factors. And those little small steps add up. So maybe you skipped breakfast, you were running late, there was some poor sleep. And we're going to talk about this and see what it looks like. So the consequences of the behavior are both short-term and long-term. So what does this look like? You emotionally ate after a stressful day. And again, maybe you've prepped your meals for the week and you've got your food there, but you're not eating it. You're eating around it. You're eating everything else but what you had prepped. So your chain analysis here might look like, I didn't sleep well. I was tossing and turning. I was up at 4:30. I couldn't go back to sleep. By the time I did, I overslept, missed my alarm clock going off, woke up late, skipped breakfast, had a protein shake on the way in, got to work late, ended up skipping lunch because I was making up for, right? And again, it's just, you see how it's just snowballing? I felt irritated. And then my coworker made a rude comment. I took it personally and I didn't ask for clarification, but I owned it myself. I felt rejected. I thought, I'm upset. I don't like to be upset. I want to comfort myself. Again, these aren't conscious thoughts. We're not conscious of this. I can't believe she said that to me. What did they mean by that? We get upset. We stop for fast food. We feel some relief. We beat ourselves up for eating because that's not part of my plan. And then we shame ourselves. I'm bad for doing this. There's something wrong with me. Why can't I get this right? Right? And again, it's just recognizing throughout the day, I didn't sleep well. Right? So poor sleep increases urges. Poor sleep led to, running late, rushing throughout the day, maybe not taking time, right, to eat. We threw it, we had a protein shake and then we skip lunch. Well, what happens? Our blood sugar drops. I don't know about you, but when my blood sugar drops, I tell people often I am not fit to be around people. My blood sugar drops. I am impulsive. I am mean with my mouth. I will hurt you to get food in. um, and that's the piece that people don't recognize. When we skip meals, our blood sugar drops and that impulsivity kicks in because we just want that feeling to stop. Right? So what does your chain analysis look like? when you eat off plan or when you're emotionally eating and you see that you're eating after a stressful day or after a hard conversation, or maybe there's been a death in the family or a divorce, and you're eating at things that normally you wouldn't. So let's look at that. What that chain analysis does is it gives you the power that you need to start making changes. Maybe it is going to bed a little bit earlier. Maybe it is getting off of your phone at a reasonable time, having, some sleep hygiene skills in place where you're taking a hot shower, you're not exercising a couple of hours before you're going to bed. That's jacking up your, endorphins. There are certain things that we can start doing for ourselves to better equip us and the way that we react to things in our lives. Okay. Does this help? Do you guys see where this chain analysis could actually come into play and how we can start identifying what are some things? Who am I reacting to? What am I reacting to? Okay.
It looks like there's lots of good comments coming in as far as yes. One
Yes.
question that did
Yeah.
was arose just a little ways back was the book you mentioned.
Yes.
Um, Barbara says, I see
The
your book is on
DBT.
Amazon. I think so. Do you offer a discount for purchasing directly from you?
I'm not. I don't have a code or anything like that for the book. No.
And so basically though, what you are offering though is through your program to kind of walk through a
Yes.
lot of the steps for that. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Also, there is a question, and the reason
Hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and bring this up now is
Yeah.
because I feel like um, it may be beneficial to kind of talk through this because the question is, the person says, I've lost 130 pounds and I'm at my goal weight. I need assistance to stay here. So I feel like what you're talking about, so there's physical things you can do, there's mental things you can do, there's emotional
Hmm.
things you can do.
Hmm.
What we're kind of talking about here is a lot of the emotional pieces, but I feel
Sure.
like they also feed into the physical piece. So I'll let you
Definitely.
answer. How would you
Yeah.
answer that question?
So, I think a few things. One, are you working with a bariatric program? Are you keeping track of your body composition? So what you want to do is learn how to maintain. I come back to the success habits of weight loss surgery patients. So the idea here is knowing what your resting metabolic rate is. Right? So understanding that if I'm burning 1,400 or 1,300 calories a day, I don't want to eat past 1,300 calories a day. So it is understanding, having a little bit of understanding of what your body burns at rest, what you're putting in, being able to, again, continue to track your food, working with a dietitian or a bariatric program, and being able to find as you're maybe including or adjusting with some of your foods, if you're taking in, again, more fruits now that you're at your goal weight, what does that look like? Learning how to eat things or add things in moderation that you might not have been eating all along. So just finding that balance. And that's the learn that's the learning curve because it's different for everyone. So there are times when I come back to calories in, calories out, understanding when resting metabolic rate and knowing your body composition. So you want to look at your body fat percentage, you want to look at your muscle mass, right? And your weight, your water weight, understanding how to find balance with those variables.
And
And
how those variables play too, because
yeah,
you're talking a lot of these things like your
this is all,
sleep, how
yeah,
like your balancing of your protein and your meals, um
yes.
your stress levels. I mean, there's so many other things. Your medications, your hormone levels.
Often people were like, well, this is what I'm eating, so I'll just reduce what I'm eating to lose weight. Okay, no, we can't do that. We because because there has to be a balance, right? Because then you're telling your body that there's something wrong and then your cortisol levels go up, right? And there's again, exercise to help manage stress, emotional stress and physical. You know, sleep is so important because if you're not getting the rest that you need, your body doesn't feel safe, right? So all it's not something you have to learn or get right now. It's a process. And I think that if we could continue to teach ourselves that and tell ourselves that this is a lifestyle. You know, I was in diet mode for so long before I had surgery that I just knew diets start and stop, which means that I was losing or I was gaining. And with surgery and with this lifestyle, I've learned that I can maintain. You've been in you've been in weight loss mode, and now that you've hit this goal, so understanding that there can be a 5 pound wiggle room or a 10 pound wiggle room, that you can understand what that looks like for body composition as well. And as you are introducing newer foods or other foods in, what that looks like for you on a regular basis. That's why now more than ever, I think staying connected to a bariatric program, staying connected to support groups, that's the piece that so often falls off, you know? Like, okay, now we're here, now what? Oh my God, I've never been here before. How do I stay here? Right? Stick with the people that have been doing it. That's what we're here for. Is that
Yeah, that's
okay?
great.
Okay.
Keep
I
going.
can't see your face, so I'm like, okay, is that okay? We're good? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So the next core DBT skill is what is referred to as distress tolerance. So distress tolerance is learning how to survive in the moment without using food. This is calming our body quickly when emotions feel overwhelming, right? So building a toolbox of crisis strategies. And sometimes it might not be crisis, but it's chaos, right? It's overwhelm so that we're not using food to cope. This, I think, is so important that it's not that we're we're no longer eating at situations. It's that we are learning to soothe and react differently using other skills. Food has been a skill, guys. For some of us, emotional eating has been a skill. Own that. It's okay. We're just adding to that skill box in that toolbox. So TIPP, the tip skills include temperature, intense exercise, paced breathing, and progressive relaxation. So TIPP, tip skills. And I'm going to teach you or at least talk to you about some of these skills. So the temperature is temperature skills, right? Using cold. Now, cold plunge is a big thing these days, and it's understanding that when we hold something cold or put cold to our face or even to the back of our neck, we are actually activating the dive response. And the dive response is automatic. It is the heart rate goes down, your blood pressure goes down, and your breathing goes down. Okay. So if you're not able to, and I'll be honest, what I said was if I've got fresh makeup on, I am not throwing cold water on my face to calm myself. So the next best thing is a cold compress or an ice cube. Hold in. I used to put ice packs or ice into little freezer bags, right? So that hold that ice bag or a cold ice pack, the small ones that fit in your hand, just holding it between. You are activating the dive response in the body. You can take your cold hands and then put your cold to your face. That is going to bring your system down. And what happens is you are decreasing the sympathetic system, right? That fight or flight. and you are calling up the parasympathetic system, all right, that rest and digest. So the goal here is that you are taking control and you're saying, okay, system, I feel that we are activated or dysregulated. I'm going to help regulate, and I'm going to hold an ice cube. So holding an ice cube in your hand, putting cold hands to your face. Grounding yourself quickly by putting your feet on the floor, reminding yourself today's date, looking around the room, being able to identify, right, and name five items, right? Just again, you bringing yourself into the present moment. Okay, that's one. Temperature skills. Intense exercise. Huh. So I jokingly say, Taylor Swift's song, Shake It Off, that idea of being able to, maybe do, run in place really fast, or maybe some jumping jacks. If you're able to, do some arm pumps, something that is really intense for a very brief period of time, dancing and shaking it off, just dancing around, moving your hands, moving your body, shake, shake, shake. That intense exercise is going to help in releasing some of that excess energy that's in your system at that time. Now, I get that you might not be able to do that at, in your office or, at the conference room table. So maybe you excuse yourself and you go into the bathroom and you just kind of jump up and down for a moment and you just shake, shake, shake. Being able to bring yourself in that moment and again, release some of that excess that's happening. Then we have, so again, paced breathing, and activate the signal to the amygdala, I am not in danger. Something as simple as breathing in through our nose. That's it's a survival response. I am not in danger. The amygdala says, oh, we don't need all this extra adrenaline. I'm good. And we begin to calm the system. So you breathe in through your nose, you push your belly out. By pushing your belly out, again, you're activating the diaphragm. Okay. This is going to help in releasing neurotransmitters that will reduce and calm the system. So we inhale for 4 and we exhale for 6. I don't want you holding your breath because holding can definitely be an activating response for trauma for some people. So inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6. If you're not able to count like that, just breathe in and breathe out. It's okay. All right. So again, paced breathing, breathes in calm, activates the parasympathetic system. Again, calming the system. And then we have progressive relaxation. This is where you're tensing and holding large muscle groups. So your arms, your forearms, your chest, your gut, squeeze your butt cheeks together, squeeze your thighs together. And when you hold these muscle groups together, 3 to 5 seconds, and then release. So squeeze hold your hands in a tight fist, and strengthening your forearms, tightening your forearms, and then relax. Right. And you can do this 2 times for 3 seconds and then relax. As you're doing this, again, you are helping your system calm. Okay. So repeat as needed. And again, this is distress tolerance toolbox. The next DBT skill is mindfulness. So learning to be present and aware without judgment, right? So pausing, learning how to pause and observe a craving without reacting. So without judgment. Okay, I'm having a craving. Let me call it what it is. I'm having a craving. Practice being aware of the urge to eat as a wave that you can ride without giving in. And the skill here is urge surfing. So notice and name what you feel at the time. This is anxiety. So I'm anxious about this. Not that I'm anxious or not that I'm anxious, I'm having anxiety. This is anxiety. Okay? Instead of I'm depressed, I feel depression. Okay, this is not hunger, this is anxiety. So being able to identify what it is. So the urge surfing technique is used to manage unwanted behavior. So rather than giving into an urge, you're learning how to ride it out, almost like for riding a wave. Time, the urge actually passes on its own, but we have to give ourselves that time. This technique can be used to stop or reduce drug and alcohol use, emotional reactions such as blowing up when you're angry, gambling, or other unwanted behaviors. This is something that I've used over the years for in substance abuse and relapse prevention. This is the big thing that we used in relapse prevention was DBT. So again, urge surfing, being able to trigger what, an urge is triggered by a person, a place, a thought, a feeling, or something else. So identifying the trigger, identifying the urge becomes more intense. This may happen gradually or suddenly, right? So you get this rise in emotion and it becomes more intense. It peaks at the urge reaches its most intense point, and it may feel as if the urge will never go away. And in these moments, you being able to say, I can handle this, I can do this, I don't have to give in to this, I can feel this through. And as you fall through it, the urge loses intensity and eventually fades away. But being able to give yourself the time that you need. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling depressed. I'm not physically hungry. I'm having a feeling that's uncomfortable. That's the piece, guys, again, that we learn. This takes practice. This is not easy. I'm just kind of, again, this is an introduction to these skills. We use these throughout our coaching, throughout our DBT e-learning series, as well as the coaching skills that we are implementing. So, urge surfing, again, a technique used to manage those unwanted feelings and behaviors. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I don't see anything right
Okay.
now,
All right.
Melissa.
Thank you. The next is going to be interpersonal effectiveness. So this is about setting boundaries. And I know the last time that I was on our podcast, that was what our topic was learning how to set boundaries, learning how to take care of ourselves, and setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't about the other person, guys. Boundaries are about us and learning how to take care of ourselves differently, in a healthier way, right? So learning how to ask for help, and sometimes we have to say no to our food pushers. And here's the thing, we might be our own food pushers. So we might have to have what I refer to as a coming to Jesus meeting with ourselves like, hey, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not having this. One of the things that came up recently was how much, I was eating a lot of cheese sticks or a lot of crackers. And it was like, where did this come from? How did this happen that I was just snacking when I wasn't hungry? Nothing was going on. There wasn't a trigger. It was there. And again, it was that idea of, because in my mind, cheese was protein, right? So again, it's just understanding how we get into some habits that we had gotten away from. So learning how to ask for help and say no to those food pushers, managing relationships that may trigger stress eating, family, partners, coworkers, neighbors, you name it. And the skill here that we talk about is Dear Man, DEARMAN. Describe, express, assert, reinforce, mindful, appear confident, and negotiate if needed. So that, what does this look like? The scenarios that you've had bariatric surgery, right? A close family member keeps pressuring you to eat dessert at a family gathering, and even though you've said no, you feel triggered, you feel anxious, you're on edge of giving in or snapping and going off on these people, right? So you go into the bathroom and put some cold water on your face and you collect yourself a little bit. And again, you begin to practice what is known as Dear Man. So this looks like describe, right? So what does this sound like? Earlier, you offered me some dessert. And I said I was going to pass, and you've continued to offer, you've brought it up a few more times since then. Express, I feel uncomfortable when I keep being asked to eat something I don't want to eat. I said no to dessert tonight, so please respect that. Assert, reinforce. When you support my choices, I feel respected and I feel closer to you. This is really important. This piece, the R reinforcing, when you support my choices, when you don't offer me, food, when you don't do this, when you support my choices, I feel respected and I feel closer to you. I feel heard. I feel like I've got a cheerleader. You're in this with me. Stay mindful. Stay focused on your message. If they start joking around and interrupting, and just bring it back to your boundary. I know you mean well. I still need you to hear me. I'm not eating dessert tonight. Appear confident, make eye contact, keep your voice steady and use clear body language. There's no need to cuss anybody out, or, get rude or any of that. It's just I'm asking. This is my boundary, right? We can still enjoy the evening together. What about, having some hot tea or a hot cup of coffee, or, going for a walk instead, spending time together. Because that's really why I'm here. I'm not here to eat dessert with you. I'm here to spend time with you. So this is what Dear Man looks like. DEARMAN. Describe, express, assert, reinforce, being mindful, appear confident, and negotiate if necessary. Right. And again, throughout our 12-week course, or again, I do a lot of individual coaching with DBT, that we're able to use real life scenarios that are happening. This was a big deal. This was one of the examples that came up and during the holidays, and during birthdays, is a big thing. So again, just learning how to set those boundaries. The key is remembering that surgery and medications are only tools to address obesity. The real work is establishing a healthy relationship with food. Food is fuel for your body, it's energy, and it's not to comfort our feelings. So, establishing those healthy skills bring comfort to the body. That's what we want to do. We want to identify what are the actual needs that we have, instead of, I'm not hungry. I have a different emotional need that's going on. I'm just not attached to it. So, we begin to identify what that is. Learning how to trust yourself more than trusting food, right? And reminding ourselves and remembering that learned behaviors can be unlearned. Definitely. DBT. So I've got an online ongoing series. It's a DBT e-learning series. You can do it with or without coaching. So I started in January. We started a 12-week course. A lot of the people that signed up for that online coaching class really wanted to do individual. They didn't want a group. They wanted to do individual. So I'm now seeing them individually. Hour of coaching that goes along with the 12 weeks recorded e-learning series. So you get the e-learning videos, you get all the downloads that come along with that, and then you get the hour of coaching. You can find that at anisagrantham.thinkific.com. Thinkific is my platform. You can always find me on Instagram at Anissa LPC. My Facebook page, if you like my page, I put in for free coaching classes. People win free coaching sessions with me, as well as free vitamins that I give away to those who are on my page. And I do a monthly support group on it's Savannah WLS, is our fake Facebook page. And you guys are always welcome to join us for our online support group. So that is the end of my PowerPoint. Yeah, there we go. Any
So much
questions or
good stuff.
feedback?
Anissa, one thing that I am going to
Yeah,
ask here, I posted
yeah,
the link in the chat feature
yeah,
for the 12-week class
yeah.
itself. It
Mhm.
was different than what you had listed on the slide. Is that
Oh,
correct?
no,
Also,
yes,
I
that is okay.
posted your
Yes.
website
Hmm.
too.
Yep, that is fine. Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, the
Okay.
Thinkific page just has all of the all of the e-learning series that I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Yes. Very
Um,
good.
Questions, guys. Let us know if you have questions. I'm
Definitely.
gonna actually share my screen too, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna before I do that, I want to make sure I'm on the right page. I'm gonna actually share my screen, and I'm gonna navigate to your website so that they
Awesome.
can see that real
Awesome.
quickly.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So they go to your if they were on your
Anisagrantham,
website,
anisagrantham.com. And then just under
and
courses.
okay,
There we go.
so right here.
Yep.
So you can learn more there, guys. And
Yes,
also you have other courses as well
I
too.
do.
So
I've got the success habits of weight loss surgery patients. Yeah.
we have those as well. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. It looks like there's some more people putting in the chat box.
Yes.
Um oh, it looks like people you were answering their questions in presentation. Oh, and thanks,
Oh,
Jill. Needing readers here. Um okay. So, yes, come back, listen to the replays, guys. I do that a
definitely.
lot because it's hard to absorb everything.
Yeah.
Um, on the live version, sometimes just coming back, listening again is super helpful. And reach out to Anissa if you feel like you can use some extra support in this area.
hmm
I feel for me, for myself, that probably emotional eating is probably one of the biggest things in my own journey that I've learned about myself and like
Oh,
being
Jill.
able to do this. Oh, that's sweet.
Thanks, Jill.
Um, yeah, Anissa has
It's
lots.
true.
If you are a bariatric coordinator and listening to this, which we do have a lot of coordinators,
Yes.
dietitians, things like that. If you have a program or you're a patient and you have a program that you're connected to and you'd like to reach out to Anissa, she does do support groups like this
Yeah.
for
For free.
other places.
Yes. And my support group, yes, that is me paying it forward. But again, just somebody was there for me. Somebody was there for me. So that's my responsibility to be a professional in this field and to be able to share my experience, strength, and hope. That's what we're meant to do. For sure. So, yes, I've had the opportunity to share with so many ASMBS programs. It's been incredible the folks that I've connected with. And Brenda, you are again one of those that I um am forever grateful that we had our time together and met.
I'd agree most wholeheartedly. Um, So, guys, feel free to reach out. I'm also going to just kind of do a shout out to ProCare, who's our sponsor,
Yes.
and this has been really a supporter of ProCare. She actually is an affiliate as well. She has a code to save 10%, and this a grant him. So if you get onto the ProCare website and you decide you find something that you like, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick here and just tell about some quick promotions that we do have right now that's kind of out there. It's procarenow.com. So just procarenow.com. And when you get to the website, you're going to see a big ProCare logo. There's a little drop down box that has you shop your products. If you're not really sure about like how to build your routine, if you've had weight loss surgery, or maybe you're on a GLP-1, or maybe you're just a weight loss journey in itself, there is some supplements that may help you. This little build your routine is kind of like a little short little questionnaire that'll help you. We also just implemented loyalty rewards recently within this last year, and that will help gain you points for different types of actions. You can learn more about that. Of course, anytime you subscribe and save, guys, you do save a lot more money by doing that, and you can cancel subscriptions at any time. I want to say too, right now with the winter months coming on, I know that it is cold and flu season. We do have a couple immunity products. One of them was developed right around the time of COVID, and it's called MagD. And basically, that product in itself, guys, is pretty incredible. It has zinc, it has magnesium. It has vitamin D3. It has quercetin. It's just a great overall defense mechanism. And then also along with that, we have vitamin D. If you are, most people, I'd say probably some statistics go as high as like 90 to 100% of people have issues with getting enough vitamin D. So we do have a vitamin D supplement also if you're in need of one and looking for something that's inexpensive and suit your needs. So that's $12.99 for 180 count capsules. So like most people would take one a day, which would last you 3 months. So for $12.99. So that's super inexpensive. And then I'm going to also just pop on, and also you can use, I believe with both those products, you should be able to use that code that I just shared, and this is code. Also want to pop on real quick on Berry Connected. Um, Under resources, there's a tab that says Berry Connected. Today's program is listed on there, and if you've already registered, you would have gotten a link for that. But if you're coming onto this information from a different standpoint, you can, if that, we usually will hold these on there till towards the end of the month. So at any point, you can register for the Zoom edition. And what will happen is it'll register you. We do send attendance to facilities throughout the United States that are a part of that. I think I send to about 80 or 90 facilities attendance to these events so that patients that are looking for a way to gain extra support prior to surgery, some programs require that. So just know if you do register for the Zoom link that is registered, and if your program's a part of that, we do send attendance. And then at the bottom of this page, Berry Connected, we do have a link for our YouTube channel, a Facebook page, and a Facebook group. I'm going to jump onto the Facebook page, or I'm sorry, the YouTube page. On the YouTube page, it is labeled under ProCare Health Vitamins and Supplements. And I want to bring this up because if there's a little button here that should say subscribe. If you subscribe to us, you get notifications when events are added. We do add all of our events post-event, and usually it's the following Tuesday. So today's event would be put on there Tuesday of next month. So if you miss it on our page at any point, you can come back. And Anissa mentioned earlier boundaries, that we talked about boundaries
Oh,
before.
yeah.
So there is like a little search feature there. If you go under that search feature under the ProCare Health Vitamins and Supplements YouTube
Yep.
page, you can find her and our last support group that we did together. So you can jump on there and listen to that. That was about a year ago, which is fun. And then there's also other ones that we have on there as well. So feel free to come back. Also, the Berry Connected Facebook page and Facebook group. When you register for that, you'll register, it will approve you, and then you have access to other people in community on that page. So I am going to stop sharing. I just want to say thank you, Anissa. You guys go check out her website, check out her program and all of the other programs that she offers. And if you need her as a speaker or just to connect with. Now, Anissa, how does therapy work too? Like if they were looking for therapy as well, just like one-on-one, is that
So, yeah, so unless if you're in the state of Georgia, I am able to do therapy outside of Georgia. I do bariatric coaching, so I'm able to do coaching outside of Georgia. And again, if you need therapy, I could always find a therapist in your area or work with a bariatric coordinator in, in your program. But therapy, one-on-one counseling, is different for a licensed psychotherapist than for coaching. For coaching, it's going to be life coaching or bariatric coaching. Yeah.
okay? Powerful stuff.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
that you
Thank
can
you.
kind of switch over and beyond. I know I've had therapists that have branched over, and then you can't always find a therapist who will do both. So that's pretty incredible.
Right. Ultimately, I'm a therapist, ultimately. So if at any time during coaching it's out, I'm getting into the forest, then I refer out. If it's more than coaching that is needed, we're able to at least evaluate during that time. But yeah, I've been able to do some incredible coaching throughout the country. That's again just, the opportunity virtually is incredible.
Yeah. Questions, anybody? Or anybody have anything? Thanks for all the amazing comments that we're talking about ProCare and all the love that
Hmm.
you're giving me and Anissa both. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
that.
Thank you.
So want to
Yeah.
wish each of you a happy day. And Anissa, thank you again for joining us
Thank
and
you so
spending
much for
time with
having me,
us.
Brenda. Thank you. It was great to see you
Okay,
again. Thanks, everybody, so much for having me. Thank you.
yeah, stay
Yeah,
very connected, guys.
very
Take
connected.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.